DNPA proudly represents the digital divisions of India's most respected news publishing institutions, committed to fostering credible journalism, advancing responsible digital transformation, and constructively engaging in policy and technological discourse within the industry. At the outset, I wish to extend sincere congratulations to the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology for organizing this eminent summit. The AI Impact Summit 2026 stands as a testament to India's resolve to not only participate, but to lead in the global conversation surrounding artificial intelligence. We are grateful for the privilege to contribute our perspective of media industry to this significant national and international dialogue. The theme for today's session, AI and media, opportunities, responsible pathways, and the road ahead, is not just timely, but also fundamental to the future of public discourse. Artificial intelligence is profoundly reshaping the way information is now gathered, curated, disseminated, and trusted. It is our privilege to be joined by distinguished leaders who represent scale, credibility, regional strength, and global perspective. Ms. Kalipuri, Vice Chairperson and Executive Editor in Chief, India Today Group, leading one of the most influential multimedia news organization across print, television, and digital. Mr. Pawan Kumar, Deputy Managing Director, Dainik Bhaskar Group, representing one of the country's largest and most expansive news network with deep reach across Bharat. Mr. Tanmay Maheshwari, Managing Director, Amar Ujala Group, one of India's most trusted Hindi news institutions with strong roots across North India. Mr. Mohit Jain, Chief Operating Officer and Executive Director, Bennett Coleman Group, one of the India's most diversified and impactful media enterprise. Mr. Navneet LV, Chief Executive Officer, The Hindu, bringing strong regional depth and editorial gravitas to this conversation. Mr. Robert Whitehead, Digital Platform Initiative Lead, International News Media Association, working closely with publishers across the globe and offering valuable international perspective on AI partnerships and policy evolution. And moderating this important discussion, Mr. Ashish Ferwani, partner, media and entertainment from ENY, who brings strategic insights at the intersection of media, economics, and technology. With that, I invite Ashish to take this discussion forward with our distinguished guests. Thank you.
Thanks, Sujata. Um, I think what you're seeing on stage, if you just add up the numbers of the reach out here that you're seeing, is probably the largest gathering of audiences on earth. All right. It is literally that big. Okay. Because if you add up all this, no, we are like India plus China plus I don't know what else. It's that big. So I'm going to start with the largest digital platform in the world. Any guesses? Who's the largest digital platform in the world? Anybody? Times of India, bang on. So Mohit's from Times of India. I've known him like, I don't know, 15, 20 years now. And Mohit, I have to say, AI is impacting media and entertainment across the board, right? It's impacting how it's created, how it's disseminated, how it's marketed, how it's monetized, everything. And there are various types of content, right? You have news journalistic content, which has a very high degree of truth, or at least it should have a very high degree of truth. You have documentaries, which are based in fact. You have entertainment, which is some complete fiction, some of it, like, say, the movie on Article 370, based on recent history as well. What kind of impact do you, sitting where you are at the cusp on this digital massive behemoth of a platform, seeing what AI is making on content, and how should AI be treated given its massive impact across all these genres?
Thank you, Ashish. I'm quite happy to start because this is the cricket season, and probably I'm the opening batsman over here, or I don't know whether I'm the only one who's wearing a tie on the dais. Right. But thank you. Uh, See, we all understand that India is a very vibrant country, diverse and complex. And in such an environment, the editorial discretion, verification, and institutional memory is not optional. It is foundational. And press is not just something which produces information. It curates trust. It provides context, and it accepts the moral and the legal responsibility for what it publishes. And that layer of accountability is the differentiator. And when AI begins to commoditize information, the trust will become scarce, and that scarcity will create value.
So, Mohit, sorry to interrupt, but can AI add accountability or can AI reduce accountability or both?
Yes, I would say that it depends that how we are anchoring the AI models in trust and responsibility. If you are able to do that, certainly it can do that. But I would say in that at the current environment, the human moat which is there, I would say that is not just a legacy advantage. It is something which is today a structural necessity to sustain a public discourse. Like, just as if you see in the FDI, foreign direct investment, there is a cap on news because news carries influence. It has an ability to impact national security, elections, social stability, and market economics. And that's the reason that why journalism is called the fourth pillar of democracy. There are different forms of content, but they do not impact the society in the same way, just like a film or a documentary or maybe a story.
Yeah.
But journalism is something else.
So you have to take a lot of care. So, Kali, 20 years as editor of TV today. 20 years is a long time to have content go through you. And I don't know how you editors sleep at night because what if it's wrong, right? That's a big worry that you have. People react all over the country. How are you using AI to manage all this?
So look at the first of all, I disagree with this one comment. I'm sorry about FDI being stopped for news. I mean, okay, it's stopped for print, but online there's no stoppage, right? You're getting in news from everywhere. So I think that's a little bit of an artificial sort of barrier which has been created because online and social media you get news from around the world. And I agree with him that it depends on how we use AI to create accountability. Right now, AI is not creating accountable information. In fact, what you're creating is AI slop, which we have seen. And that can create an illusion of trust. And that's problematic because news and verified media brands such as the Times of India, India Today Group shape opinion. And in a country like ours, where literacy rate is not that high, you want verified um, outlets having that power to shape public opinion. So I think that's a problem. In our side, on the India Today group, we love technology. We always jump in head first. We've been working on AI for about 2.5 years. Any of you who engage with the India Today group would know we have AI anchors, we have AI clones of our most popular anchors. We voice clone, we make movies on AI, we do all kind of things. But I think the one guiding principle for AI, as far as the India Today group goes, is that in India Today group, the accountability for AI has a name. So what we do is something called the AI sandwich, where human intent starts the AI exercise. You have AI in between to help you with something, and then you have the final decision, which is again a human being. So I think that that's really important. And it's very important to do that, to have that human imprint, because you do not want to become one biscuit in this AI cookie cutter way, right? And flatten everything, because we are a country which is very diverse and you want to have that diversity. We want to be able to tell our stories, not AI stories, right?
Thank you. You certainly don't want to become a biscuit. Uh, but interesting how you guys have used AI, and I've seen your AI anchor at work, and she's pretty hot. Okay, so I just want to Tanmay, from a Hindi heartland, solid product. How are you guys investing in AI? What are you seeing as the big use cases? And Navneet, I'd like you to add on to that after this.
Uh, Thanks a lot, for that query. Thanks to all of you, inside the room, took out time and, came here. See, for us, AI is just another technology. And like any other, technology, there's going to be an upside and a downside. A classic case, is the nuclear technology, right? It can be the most devastating bomb in the world, and that's the cleanest source of power all of us can get. Same is with AI. So it's about how you use it. Kali has, rightly said that you have to have a human layer attached to it. At our organization, which is looking at masses, we're looking at tier 2, tier 3 audiences, we're looking at news from tier 2, tier 3 towns. Use of AI is to complement the human work, and how to go deeper into an article, how to basically enhance the content value. So we don't see AI as a replacement of anything. We see AI as a tool to improve the quality of the news. And see, at the end of it all, our goal is just to create better content for our users. And we never think that AI is going to replace anything. Content layer is the most important layer in this entire AI engine. So there is data layer, processing layer, application layer, power energy layer. But the content layer is the only variable layer. And as a responsible organization, we feel that we have to use this layer to enhance our content production type. So typical use cases, to answer your question, would be to enhance the depth of content, would be to automate the monotonous task, and to, use that time to do a better, research based things.
Superb. So there's a lot you can do on both the quality of content that I'm hearing from you, Tanmay, and also on the cost efficiencies. Putting you straight into the fire, Navneet. How do you use AI to increase revenues?
To begin with, you asked a question about sleeping well at night. At the Hindu group, the CEO sleeps well because the editors don't give you reason to stay awake. I mean, we do use AI for much of what uh, Tanmay mentioned and Kali mentioned, but I think the big differentiator is when it comes to media, trust is not generated by technology. Um, it's produced by institutions, and that's where you draw the line. Uh, there are multiple ways of using AI to increase revenue. One is pure engagement goes up on your digital platform, stickiness goes up, retention goes up. So we are a 147-year-old institution, and one of the biggest use cases I think there is, and what we use it effectively for, is if you're making sense of what's happening today, using the context of yesterday, and paint a picture of the implications of the choices we make as a society and the world will bequeath to the next generation. That's an extraordinarily powerful journalism use case. So we have built a model that doesn't hallucinate because that model's resources are our own archival material. As you're writing a story, it generates content from the past, offers context, relevance, and a journalist can choose to take that, summarize that, and add context. So that increases stickiness. In terms of subscription revenues, we are able to use uh, AI to build propensity models to increase our retention, and so on.
That's fascinating. So I think summarizing what I'm hearing, there are lots of use cases of AI, and it's hitting the world and in the media industry in every possible manner. I'm moving to the next part, and Pawanji, I'd like you to start on this one. Uh, you guys create thousands and thousands of articles and hours of content every day. As a country, if I keep UGC aside, in 2025, India created 2 lakh hours of video content, just video content, 2 lakh hours, which is the largest in the world as of today. All right. AI played, as of now, a pretty small role in that, not a very big role. But recently, about 2, 3 months back, there was a survey which was done when 90% of the respondents could not identify whether content was man made or AI created, which has its own set of challenges in a country as diverse as ours, in a country where the education levels vary significantly, affluence levels vary, language vary significantly. Pawanji, do we have a responsibility as media owners to our consumer, and what needs to be done in the world of AI? And after you, I'd like Robert, you to chip in with some of the international examples around this as well. And then I'd like even all the others to talk because it's a very important topic.
So I think we've seen two big technological changes. One is somebody named this to me, which is all you can eat data packages. India saw this, in 2015s, when all the companies came in to say that I'll charge you $200, $300 a month, and you can use as much internet as you can. That transformed the consumption on phones. Uh, and now with the advent of AI, so what is happening is, in a country to 140 crore people, our population, uh, the technology is taking, empowering every single person with content, with free data, with a lot of information. It's a great, like Tanmay said, it's a nuclear power. It's like a nuclear power. How do you use this? So we can't stop this from coming. We have to embrace it. The question is, uh, just like water, you can drink water to quench your thirst, right? It can be full of bacteria, it can be absolutely clean. Now, your your core purpose will be done with whatever you're consuming as a country right now, but the question is, for generations to come, and that's where the responsibility of both policymakers and of media owners and AI companies and platforms come into play, where we have to collectively ensure that as a country we are not fed anything wrong, because whatever we feed wrong, because content and news, we are news, we are not entertainment, we are not music, we are not movies. You can watch a fiction on a movie, and you won't carry anything wrong with you, but when you consume anything wrong, anything incorrect, it will cause a generational damage. And that's where I think the role of media owners, policymakers, governments, platforms will play a big role. And I think that's what I think the whole world is grappling with. And but India is different. India, we have a lot of people who have a phone, who can read a newspaper, but they can't process. They
But
can't really process what is right, what is wrong. Many of us, when we receive content on our phones, we simply forward it without processing it, because we don't literally don't have that
so
capability.
one
So
thing that needs to be done.
treating India differently by the policymakers, by the government, and of course by us. That we are different. We are not. This country is not made up of a tier one towns. It's made up of tier one, tier two, tier three, tier four, tier five towns, and it cannot. And all those people cannot be. Uh, we cannot assume that everybody is the same. Everybody has different education levels, different understanding, and it has to have a special treatment.
Rob,
With the greatest respect, and I come from the world's second best cricket nation. I just wanted to put that out there. India is no different. You are already drinking AI water full of bacteria. And people in this room and around the globe don't know the difference between what's making them sick and what's not. Because unlike a medical condition, misinformation, disinformation, or just wrong information accidentally trained in a model can spread around the world 3 million times before your reporters get out of bed in the morning. We have a problem, Houston. AI is already trained on all the biggest English language models on incorrect information. Now, laws will change. Anyone in this room that publishes material that is accessed for even 1 nanosecond in Europe, from the 2nd of August this year, will need to label that image, that video, as AI generated. And many other countries are following that AI Act requirement. It's already law, but it takes effect. We need to do so much more than that to ensure that the information that is being ingested, particularly in countries that are not well represented at the moment in the AI models, such as India, is the right information from professional, reliable sources. They are my colleagues here on the panel.
fantastic, Rob. Mohit, I was just coming to you.
Oh, did I
Go ahead,
anticipate
and
that?
then I'll ask you the question. Okay.
No, thank you. Ashit, I just want.
Always anticipates the ball.
Yes. No, thank you. Thank you, Kali. Yeah.
First best cricket country. Is that what you said?
We are on an advertising model, so we'll discuss that later.
For
So,
the
but,
audience,
no, Ashish, I
Rob
just-
comes from Australia, so yeah, we tend to beat them quite often. So
No, then this panel is going in a different direction. Ashish, I'll have to give the mic back to Rob then.
please carry on.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, the Ashish, just a quick add-on thought to that. And when we say that the press is often called as the fourth pillar of democracy, there is a reason to that. And because not just it informs the citizens, it scrutinizes power and it creates the journalistic standards. But tomorrow, if AI, starts to blend and summarize and distribute journalism, then that means that they are not just handling content, they're participating in public discourse. And anything that that begins to participate in a democratic process, then it deserves a different standard of care.
What needs to be done?
No, I would say that there is a combination of what we said earlier, that presently a human moat is something which is essential to do the governance part of that. So, I mean, there have been different kind of revolutions, as we know, Ashish. The agricultural revolution, which taught us how to cultivate crops and build stable settlements. The industrial revolution, they mechanized manufacturing and molded modern life. And the internet revolution that connected continents and democratized data and disrupted economies. But AI revolution is a mother of all of these revolutions. It will actually define the coexistence of man and machine. But how that relationship is going to look like will depend on our intelligence, how we want to shape it.
Super.
So I have a 9 point charter. Okay. No, I'm giving the 9 points and then I won't speak at all. Okay. So, my 9 point charter for what we can do to make sure that AI is benign, right? First of all, fair value for journalistic content used in AI systems. We need transparency on how you are digesting, metabolizing news in AI. Number two, attribution and traceability as a democratic principle, not as a commercial favor that the big giants are doing to us.
Okay putting these labels on all your 18 or 19 sub channels?
Yes, I think that why are the tech companies not making it as part of the code that you cannot use the AI without it labeling it automatically? Why are you giving this as something of discretion to the user who's doing it? Because bad actors are never going to say it's AI. Why would bad actors do that? You're just putting more responsibility on the good actors and not controlling the bad actors. Don't interrupt my charter. Number three, recognize journalism as a public good. Number four, reward stories that deliver social impact. Right now, the algorithms do not have any signals from social impact, they only have signals from virality, right? Number five, put a real value to verified content provided by proper institutions. Number six, penalize AI hallucination severely, not treat it as something, oh, that's cute, AI has just made a little mistake. Number seven, end the asymmetry of reward and punishment between legacy media and social media. Legacy media has to follow certain guidelines. We see those same guidelines flouted on social media on an everyday basis, and we tolerate that. Number eight, treat our population's attention as the rarest mineral we have. Point number nine, insist on the reciprocity of Magnificent Seven, the tech companies, for giving them access to that rare mineral. What are they giving us back? That's it.
Fantastic. Wasn't point nine the same as point one? Remuneration.
But fair value is different to what you give them in access. That isn't just media, right?
Fair point. Okay. I want to take one of your points, and Navneet, I'd like you to specifically answer this because you're like the guy closest to the equator out here, the most balanced. Um, who's responsible for wrong content? I'm saying wrong content. I'm not saying AI content. Is it the creator of the content? Is it the guy who posts it or distributes it on any media channel? Or is it the platform who carries it?
That's a tough question and also philosophical, right? Uh, Now, one could even ask, is the person who consumes that wrong content and believe it to be true, where does the fault lie? So while is it easier to tough to find fault, it's easier to have mechanisms in place to fix responsibility. Platform should be responsible. Now, if legacy media is responsible for the content we put out editor is held to very high standards. Platform should be held to the same high standards. One of the things we as an industry can do well, little segue here, and I completely am on board with Kali's 9 point agenda. Uh, I think as an industry, we have done an extremely poor job of communicating this to audiences. See, regulators should believe in this agenda. We as an industry should believe in this agenda. Government and policymakers should believe in the agenda. But unless consumers believe in this agenda and say this is good for me and this bottoms up pressure, there should be pressure from bottoms up. And while we do well with ourselves and with regulation to an extent, we could do a better job in setting this agenda for consumers. And I think her 9 point agenda is a brilliant starting point.
So, like we had the ISI mark and the FDA certifications, you're saying consumers should demand labeling, should demand attribution, should demand accuracy levels and things of that nature. Sorry, Moj, you want to say something?
No, I just a quick one line on that only, Ashish. See, when you say that who takes the responsibility, is it the content creator or the platform? So I would just say that responsibility in that case has to be centered at all stages. See, if you do not ingest a credible, high quality, original content, then what Kali also talked about, the hallucinations, it is bound to happen. And that is where we are saying that the journalistic content is not like a free floating content on the internet. It is something which is intellectual property. It gets created with investment, with infrastructure, with talent. And and I would just like to say that data has to be contracted. It cannot be surrendered.
That's a very important point. Again, point one, point nine, data can't be contracted. I'm getting a flavor of the session here very clearly. Uh, uh, Pavanji, moving on to you. Um, you provide content for the heartland of this country, right? Lots and lots of very wealthy states where you're present in. Um, and you have worked in states where governments swing in and out at you know the GDP and per capita incomes vary significantly. Um, a lot of the public opinion in your states is currently being driven by AI tools that are built on foreign models, foreign LLMs. Is there really, according to you, a need for a sovereign stack that India should invest in? Because you're working in so many different languages, and in Mohit, you too, you're working across so many different languages, you guys as well, right? What's the need for an India sovereign AI stack?
You know, as as I said in the beginning, that India has to be treated differently. The tier two, tier three, tier four, tier five towns, they are very different from what you and I understand sitting in a Delhi. You know, the understanding of a guy sitting in Dosa uh, or a Barmer or a Sagar or a Morena is very different. And
I have not been to any of those places.
and exactly, and interestingly, bulk of our population is in those tier two, tier three, and tier four towns, and they are the ones actually who are getting affected the most with all the models which are trained on foreign languages or in English, let's say, or foreign models. Uh, so there is a big need to look at this country very differently and not just look at it as a divide between language of English versus regional. Probably multiple models because the needs are very different and those needs cannot be understood by sitting somewhere out of this country.
Who's
Those
going to
needs have to be.
invest to build all these models? It's very, very, very expensive.
It is expensive, but as a country we build infrastructure, right? We build hospitals as a country, we build institutions for education. This is another step for next few generations to come. And if we don't build it right now, our generations, the next few generations, are going to blame us that that these people only thought of reaping the benefits now and seeing the next 2 to 3 years and not seeing the next 20 to 30 to 40 years. And if we don't work on those models right now, what will happen is, uh, what we feed them is not anything material. You can't touch it, right? It's being consumed. It changes your perception. It changes the way you see the world. It changes the way you act, you behave in your societies. So it's a big societal change actually, And if it's not done in time, as I said, it's going to cause a very, very long
No,
permanent
that
damage.
that I completely buy. And Tanmay, I want to come back to you on this quickly. And when you use models in Indic languages, uh, does context work?
No, it. So I would say, accuracy is less than 50-55% in the language models. And see, there's a very famous quote, by, the famous Sam Altman. And, he said that AI will lead to the end of the world, but till then we'll make some great companies. Now, it can be a dark humor, for all of us. But whenever, we build for tomorrow, day after tomorrow, for our, children, right? We are just patrons, right? We have been, given this world, and we have to, hand over the world in a very nice manner. So Kali's 9 point agenda is great. And I thought that how can we actually get it done, right? How do we, execute it? So I have a 5 point execution plan, to
Okay,
top it up.
super.
So number one point is that can the government and big tech label the source of original verified content and create a signature around it? It's very easily, done. You can, have a, blockchain technology to do it. Simple to do thing. What it will actually lead to is the second point of a point, that is a traceability. So once you know that from where this thing has come, you can actually get back to that person, which, reduces the risk of people trying to manipulate minds, because then they know that they can be caught. The
Very
third
true.
point, which I had noted, just give me a second, sorry, is data access to emerging Indian models. See the problem, and which Robert also said, that most of the Western models don't even access to proper Indian data. We don't have healthcare data in India. We don't have public transportation data in India. We don't have regulatory data in India. We don't have criminal record data in India. None of it is actually digitized. So if we don't have the data, how can it even get trained on? And government must open these models for us, for all the Indian groomed organizations, to basically build on it and train on it. My last point is on the infrastructure. And maybe I'm asking for too much, but infrastructure has to be built by the government. Who is building the roads? Who is building the dams? Who is building highways? Who is building the airports initially, not now? It is always the government who would begin building the infrastructure, public would use it, and then you will have private players coming in and doing that. China is a classic use case, right? Government has invested hugely. And I think so, this very AI, entourage today over here, you had queues of, people, to get in, shows the, interest of this country and the, commitment of the, government. And I really hope that this very baby, move, will lead to a much, much bigger leap. But without Indian infrastructure, without government giving enough chips, enough data, I don't think so. Even talking about an Indian model is a logical thing to do, because there's a, saying, in Hindi, which I'll use right now, कि पानी के ऊपर मलाई कभी भी नहीं जमती है. You need to have milk to have cream over it. You cannot have cream over water.
Well said. Well said. Rob, you work with media companies across the globe. Are these five human beings asking for too much?
Well, we've just had deflation from 9 points to 5 points. Let me give you two. And they support all of them. There's got to be recognition for the IP that is created by professional creators. I'm a big fan of individual, I'm a big fan of the creator economy. But the creator economy is not going to give the accuracy that these big models need. And the material needs to be paid for. Point one, AI is already destroying the value of the companies here on the stage. AI summaries in search have led to as many as 60% of searches no longer going to websites. How the heck are we funding journalism, advertising, cover prices, and to a very small extent here, subscriptions? If the search engines are not referring traffic, if the social networks are no longer referring traffic, there have been huge falls in the past 12 months. That is already depriving revenue from the businesses that are funding the accuracy of the data that is needed for a sovereign model or any other large language model. So these people are already being challenged by AI. A government action that's very specific is my second point. Help fund the AI training on professional journalism. Sometimes that can just be pass a law. That's happened in many countries now, requiring the big tech companies and the largest foundational models to pay for the data they are training on. There are billions of dollars being paid for professional content, but not to media companies. Companies in San Francisco that are buying on the black market. That money needs to flow through to the media companies creating that content, and that will only happen when there's a law that requires the tech platforms to participate in a fair digital marketplace.
Is that happening anywhere?
Yes, there's a couple of different ways of doing it. Norway pays for the media IP to be trained on. Norway's a very rich country. South Africa is just about to pass a law that requires the platforms to negotiate commercial deals for the access to this very valuable information. From one extreme to the other, there are many examples in the middle.
Kali, do you see this happening?
No, I don't see this happening. That's why I think we definitely need a sovereign India stack because we do need leverage. In fact, I would be very happy if, like Pavan said, they would not treat India uniquely. And the Magnificent Seven, the big tech companies, treated India the same way as they treat media brands in America. I feel that amongst us, like you said, we have some of the largest audiences. Times of India is the largest news website in English. Aaj Tak is the largest news channel on YouTube, but we don't get the same exceptions from the tech companies like American media brands. And I see that as digital imperialism, right? And I feel that the government does need to step in with either regulation or other ways to leverage so that they can get the same rights for Indian media companies that maybe foreign media companies are getting, because the cost of decolonizing later is going to be really expensive.
That's a pretty big statement, colonization. Um, Honestly, wearing your hat, Kali, your practical editor's hat, you'd love what you said. You'd love to be paid more for your content. And on the other hand, there's a bunch of other people in a country of 1.4 billion who are creating content, and they also want to be monetize it. They want to get famous with it. They want to build audiences, drive communities, build public opinion. Don't you think that these measures could help some of the big guys, but could really not be helping any of the upstarts, the small influencers, if I may say, the small stringers, the content creators out there? Do you think these do you see a set of measures that would be beneficial for both the large news brands and the individual creators?
I think that having a common set of rules that applies towards truth and what is credible and what is verified between creators and news organizations have to be slightly different, right? Because creators are creating content which can be fantastical and they should do it. Why not? And they are making money from it. I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with influencers having an opinion, but I do have a problem with influencers parasiting on original content made by the legacy brands. In the end, we are the guys who are funding the reporters to go out and break the original story on the basis of which Maybe an influencer will take a point of view, may use our footage, may turn it around the way they want, and which is fine too. But then we are not getting credited for it. We are not getting any payment for it. And over a period of time, how will we sustain those reporters? And if we don't have original stories, AI will eat AI. It'll keep making stories, but it'll keep making stories from synthetic content. It won't be our stories. It won't be original stories. It won't be things on the ground. Because in the end, the reporters are the guys who go and get you original stories from the ground, from all those places that Power named that you have not been to.
Super. What you wanted to add to this?
No, I was just saying, Ashish, that one is the content creators versus the publishers, and then the big tech. I think all of these people, they have to come together, because the fundamental part of innovation and commerce is that anybody who creates value must be able to capture value, and that is something which is very important over here. And as part the the big tech and the publishers also, I would just say that see, conversation creates value, and confrontation creates invoices of lawyers and some consultants.
Thank you very much.
Ashish is, yeah. So I genuinely believe that with the big tech people, we have to sit down and talk and understand the interdependence with each other. And I'm sure they do also, But I think somewhere we need an environment or a framework to actually facilitate that further, and say that going to be coexistence of technology and content together. And if you're able to do that, then I think it is up to the determination of a fair negotiated value, that how we can take this forward. Because these free markets are not just the ideological abstractions, because they're the mechanisms to discover value and allocation of capital and sustained quality standards.
So we unfortunately don't have anyone from big tech to give their point of view, but I think Rob, you had something you wanted to add.
So, arguably, the best large language model in the world at the moment is Anthropic's Claude. Can anyone in the room, no question, yeah, Claude, absolutely. Can anyone in the room tell me how many AI IP deals they have done with media companies to create Anthropic's Claude? Best in the world. The answer is zero. They have no interest in meeting anyone, including our great friends at the Times of India. And if they won't meet the Times of India, what help for the rest of the world creating journalism?
Ouch. Okay. I think we're down to the last bit. Uh, to wrap up, we're in Feb of 2026. Uh, would like each of you to tell me briefly one wish list item that you have for the build up and rollout of responsible and really cool AI in India. Starting with you, Pavanji.
There's a lot of AI noise in the room. Can we keep the doors closed?
So I have two asks,
Okay.
Ashish. One ask is from this audience, from all of you. Uh, Please, the way you consume, way you eat good food, good quality food, you drink good quality of water. Please build a habit of consuming good quality news. News is fundamental, to your growth. News is fundamental to what you will pass on to the next generations. And and we always say in our industry, we are the last few men standing, men and women standing. Uh, News, if not protected now, will die in the next decade. You will only see news generated from users, and there will be no newsrooms. There will be nobody taking accountability. So hence, whatever you heard from all of us on the panel about our deals, about ask from government, is not to basically run a profitable company, is to continue to deliver the responsibilities that we are all here for. So that's my ask, basically.
Super. Tanmay.
So I would just like to, build upon, whatever Pavanji just said. That protecting the tomorrow is my ask. See, in this entire game, okay, we have to see that who is the loser and who is the winner. On Thank you. So, on the one side, you have the big tech, who is definitely, a winner. Okay. US economy has 26% contribution to the world's GDP, but they have 65% contribution to the world index of the stock market. So this is the valuation of those companies, okay, who are feeding on our consumers. I feel that yes, if it is not done, media companies will be at a loss, but the biggest loss will be to the consumer, because just like we have a right to good air, good water, good food, good education, we have a right to write and correct information, and information of our choice. You can't force me to believe that elephant has 5 legs. You can't put me into an information bubble all the time. So my only ask is that we have to treat consumer as the ultimate king, and he is the ultimate king, and build our entire organization, policy framework, regulatory framework, partnership with the big tech to solve for the consumer. Because see, I know that all of a lot of us in this room belong to the media industry, and it's not just like any other place to work. It's not like a hotel or a factory. We are super responsible people, and we have a responsibility towards a better tomorrow for our country. And for that to happen, it is a prerequisite that people must have a choice to consume whatever they want, not a choice wherein they are manipulated and maneuvered as per the global agendas.
Thanks, Tanmay.
Yeah, I have two small lines. One is more of our wish, and the second is more my wish.
Okay.
Uh, our wish is to find the right revenue models and fair share revenue agreements to ensure journalism is a force for the greater good, which is something we have always done and which is something we'll always do. And my wish as somebody who's involved in this business of news and has the privilege of working for an extraordinarily respected organization is to ensure that I'm always in a position to prioritize long term trust over short time efficiency and productivity.
Well said. Mohit.
Uh, I would say, Ashish, that my wish is that the media will always remain trust led. When everything can be generated and almost everything can be made to look real, then attribution will matter, and the sources of truth will matter, and the readers will remember that who stood for the truth when it mattered the most. And in such cases, if AI can help in deepen that trust, bring back the readers to the habit of thoughtful reading, and amplify credible voices, then technology will strengthen journalism and not weaken it. And on a
Beautifully
personal
said.
level, if I say that I see something very profoundly human in the AI promise, that perhaps it can take away loneliness. It
Wow.
can provide comfort and companionship if it was really anchored with trust and responsibility to provide connection and comfort to millions.
Brilliant, Mohitji. I love that twist. Rob.
I've only got 9 points. One of the themes of this summit is harnessing AI's power to be able to improve society. There are so many ways to do that. This summit is barely going to touch them all. And everyone on this stage is part of that upside. But it can't happen at the same time as something else so valuable in society is destroyed. Destroyed through negligence. Governments, regulators, politicians do have a role to bring the tech platforms to negotiation so that the funding models for our journalism can be preserved, expanded, and society thrives.
Super.
Okay, it wasn't 9.
So my wish is that India wins the cricket, best team, and that my 9 point charter with Tanmay's 5 points of execution come into play. Thank you.
Super. I think we've had a great panel. I'm just summarizing what I'm taking away. Firstly, we owe it to consumers to do right by them. And that means labeling, building regional LLMs, accreditation of sources, accreditation of AI tools, all of that. We owe it to the consumers of media content. Secondly, we need to build LLMs for the future. Otherwise, our subsequent generations will have someone to point and blame us for the lack of what we should have done in building that infra for them. And third, we need a sovereign AI stack at some level, and it needs to have customer at the core. It needs to have the consumer at the core. Otherwise, it's not going to serve the purposes of a democracy like India. I had a wonderful time moderating an absolutely brilliant panel. People, please put your hands together for them. I think they did a wonderful thought, a lot of very brutal statements made. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Have a great session. Jai Hind.
Thank you, Ashish.